What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So we have a ton of new info on small details in this game that I think are really cool in terms of just the tiny little miniature things in this game that go a long way. They've revealed some new details on that. On top of that, they dropped some new screenshots revealing a brand new suit, and lastly, the difference between the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4 has now officially been explained by one of the devs. So we're going to be pointing out the key differences and so forth. But on top of that, what we did get as well is some new web swinging gameplay, as you can see in the background. And I just want to add here real quick on how similar this looks to, of course, Into the Spider-Verse when it comes down to web swinging, which again I think is so cool. But let me know your thoughts on this below, but also let me know which console you'll be playing this game on. Is it going to be the PlayStation 5 or is it going to be the PlayStation 4? And let's try and crush 4 likes, and go ahead and click that big red subscribe button below if you have not already, because hey, it's just a really cool thing to do, right? So, diving into the new info first of all. So, in the web swinging footage that you see in the background, this was essentially taken from another video that they done, and when I say they, I'm talking Game Informer with Insomniac Games, where they were talking about the making of this game, and it was like an hour, I think almost an hour long video, and what we see here, of course, is some brand new web swinging gameplay. But what's really cool is they were discussing in this particular scene as well, that of the gameplay I'm showing, on how they made the gameplay immersive. So for example, what they said is when you jump into your web swinging, you'll actually get like a little kick up of snow off the ground, which I think is really cool. And when you are walking on the snow, you'll now also be able to see footprints. Now again, it's a very small detail, but it definitely makes the world feel more alive, right? And it's something that couldn't be accomplished, of course, in the current gen as I'm making this video. So it's nice to know when it comes down to attention to detail, this game's going to be full of it. It really is, and this is just something they're telling us. So I'm very excited to see what they haven't told us and what we'll be able to discover in the game when we get our hands on it, which now isn't long at all. Like, next gen is really creeping up on us very quickly. Now, on to the next thing, we got a look at a brand new suit, as you can see in the background, and I guess there's only one word for this, and that is wow. Now, I think this suit looks incredible, but what's important is it definitely feels refreshing in terms of, out of all the other suits in Spider-Man games in general, like on the PlayStation 4 and the one we're getting now, this feels different. It feels like it's got that uniqueness to it as well. Now, it's definitely like in my top 3 out of all the suits we've seen in this Miles Morales game so far, and so far this game alone, I would say, has some of the best suits that we have seen as a whole. Now, what this one is called is the Crimson Cowl suit, and it has a little breakdown like, could it be a two-piece? Spider-Man looks like he's ready to hit the gym in this slick athletic suit. And then it has like a little breakdown which says some call it a hood, but others call it a cowl. Regardless, it's never been done before, and it's a look at our new Spider-Man owns. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to say I'm pronouncing it cowl. It's just my accent. I have no idea how to get that L in there, but you know what I mean. It's the Crimson Cowl suit. That's basically what it is, and I think it looks very cool. Now, going into the next one, we got a breakdown of the tracksuit, and here, for example, we know this tracksuit has a lot of people talking, and just seeing a close-up look again on this looks absolutely phenomenal, right? So, it says an evolution of his classic red and black suit, and then for the legs, it said it looks like it's been made of a breathable fabric so Spider-Man can swing through the city without breaking a sweat. And then it says the new Spider-Man swung through the city in a second suit that elevated his heroic silhouette. And again, this is one of those things, right? We know Miles is a young person, and so far with all the suits we are seeing, it's very, I guess you can probably use the word trendy in that perspective. And of course Peter Parker was young. It's not like Peter Parker was in his 50s web swinging around, but you know what I mean. It's like this character is young, and it's kind of going through all these artistic kind of looking suits. I mean, the difference with all of them are huge. Like, you can't say it's reskins, right? There are actually different suits, and and I think that alone is what really stands out, at least to me anyway. But again, let me know your thoughts on this tracksuit and of course the Crimson Cowl suit. Now going on to the final thing, which is what is the key differences between the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4 version of course the same game. Now Miles Morales' creative director Brian Horton explains just that in an interview with Game Informer. So when he was asked about what changes players can expect to see when moving from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5, of course Horton said that there's a few ways the next gen edition improves the experiences, and his exact words were, "We were able to take full advantage of all the features in the PlayStation 5. But he says it's one of those things that was basically graphics fidelity. So you're going to see ray tracing reflections, which we already know everywhere in the game on the PlayStation 5, and that's not something unfortunately we'll be able to see in the PlayStation 4 version of the game." But he then went on to talking about the DualSense controller haptics, because again, we know Insomniac have really utilized that, and essentially how it allows for far more detailed, I guess, feedback to the player in general. And he says that there will be a rumble in the PlayStation 4 version, but that haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers make for a more immersive experience. And he says it allows for effects like a bioelectricity to travel from one side of the controller to the other. That's some information that we already knew, which I think is really cool. Same way with web swinging, how that's effective. You're going to be able to feel the resistance on the trigger, which I mean, again, that's a really big thing. I'm just really excited to try this game out. In general, on the PlayStation 5, when it comes down to the PlayStation 5's controls specifically, I want to experience that, because that is where it all lays, right? Now, in regards to conveying the feel of the tension on the web swing, the web increasing as you swing, sorry, that's basically what that's for. And then he said there's the PlayStation 5's SSD, and in a nutshell, that just of course gives you that near instant loading. But if you die or you fast travel on the PlayStation 4, again, it's no biggie, because you're just going to be getting the same loading screens as we did with, of course, the PlayStation 4 version of Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man game, when he was traveling on the subway again. And I think it does go a long way. That's actually something that players did appreciate. And if you didn't know, if you don't want instant loading, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but in terms of like cool scenes for like Spider-Man in the tube station, whatever it may be, then you can actually still turn that feature back on. So you can, I guess, manually turn your loading screens back on, which again is a nice touch. It goes a long way when it comes down to that cinematic feel and just getting to know Peter's character, or not Peter's character, Miles's character in this case, a lot more. But guys, leave all your thoughts on this stuff in the comments below, and that's going to wrap up this video here. So I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and until the next one, adios amigos.